Let's have a look at hotkeys in DaVinci Resolve. Hotkeys are key combinations that automate the things that you do otherwise with your mouse. It can save a heck of a lot of time. So let's just dive right in. Here I have a demo that I shot. I shot a narrative, and we're going to use some hotkeys to cut this narrative down. And this is pretty much editing in a nutshell. So let's go ahead and select this narrative file, create a new timeline. We'll call it demo narrative. Good. So now we have our timeline here in the edit page, which is where I'm going to work. So I want to be able to zoom in and out on the timeline pretty easily. And with hotkeys, you do that with Control, plus and minus. So you can see here, that zooms in, that zooms out. I'm just holding Control with my thumb and moving this in and out. You can really quickly zoom in on something or zoom out and see the whole thing. Then there is J, K, and L. J is backwards, L is forwards, K is stops. You can just leave your fingers right here on J, K, and L and go. If you hit J twice, it'll go twice as fast backwards. If you hit L twice, it'll go twice as fast forward. And the more you hit it, the faster it goes. For example, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this... Alright, so you can really quickly move through it. Of course, if you go any faster than 2 times speed, it gets very difficult to hear anything. So we'll go back to the beginning here, and then we'll just play it. And every time we get to a place where we want to cut, we'll put a split in by hitting Control and backslash. Alright, that's clearly a false start. It's like, right. We'll cut out the false start there, be ready to Control backslash. Oh, I'm looking at the screen. Another false start. All right, so I'm going to undo that. Right, so but now look, if I zoom in here, I can see that there's more like pauses here. So let's just, let's just go through this. There might be a few false starts. Yep. All right, clearly. This will go a little faster here. Ladies and gentlemen, I like that. Hey, welcome back. So I changed it. So let's see, that's right about there. Hey, well, so let's see if that's the right place to start. So we'll catch it right as the expression is starting to change. Control backslash, and now I've gotten all that flack at the beginning taken care of. And to get rid of it, here I'll zoom out a little to show you what's going to happen. And to get rid of it, I'm going to hit Shift and Backspace. And what that does is it deletes it and gets rid of the space that was there. So now, hey, welcome back. This is an introduction to how to use hotkeys when using DaVinci Resolve. Okay, a pause. What's going on? DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so there's a second take there. I'm going to zoom in a little here. When using, find a moment here. That's when it starts. Start with the eyes, I suppose. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit M to make a marker, and I'm going to hit it again, and just put a marker in time there. But you can see that there's some space here and here that I might be not quite done yet. So let's. Nope. When using DaVinci Resolve, that'll be easier to cut. Okay, well, we know we don't need that'll be easier to cut. So we'll just go Control backslash there, Shift delete, get rid of that because we know we don't need it. Now, which of these three are we going to use? To how to use hotkeys when using DaVinci Resolve. When using DaVinci Resolve. That's much louder. And while it might look better, and I might have thought it's going to cut better, I don't think it will because the tone of voice is pretty different. So let's see. DaVinci Resolve. That actually might be the best one. So since I know all of this to the end of the clip is not what I want, I can use Shift and then this end bracket to delete everything from where the timeline is to the end of the clip. Now, I can then go ahead and select the space and delete it. Or, if you want, I can hit T to put it in trim mode, and you see this icon has just highlighted. Then, if I hit Shift and back bracket on the selected clip, trim mode does the the ripple delete for me. But then you have to hit A to get back into regular mode. It just keeps you from having to move your mouse back up here to these tools. So let's see. Use hotkeys when using... Now, I'm intending to make a little bit of a point here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to zoom in a little so I can more carefully move. There we go. We'll start there and split. And I can then go ahead and zoom in a little and move the position to keep me on the line of thirds, and we'll see how that looks. Hotkeys when using DaVinci Resolve. I need a little bit more of that, so we'll just drag this back. And I think I need less of this, so we'll put it back in trim mode, and now we'll ripple this side back. Back in regular mode. When using DaVinci Resolve. The thing about hotkeys is... Okay, so now we're back, and I want to zoom back out so I can see where we're going. The thing about hotkeys is that without moving your hands too far on the keyboard or the mouse... Alright, so there's a pause coming up here, so there's probably some editing that needs to happen. Yeah. The thing about hotkeys is while... Okay, so let's zoom out a little here. Okay, that all looks good. So we'll zoom back in, go backwards a little here. And I think I started with the thing about hotkeys. Okay, so the thing about hotkeys is the first thing to start with. So let's find a good spot over here. And then just like you could do shift and end bracket, let's do shift and open bracket. And that will grab everything from the beginning of the clip to the playhead. So let's see how that flows now. When using DaVinci Resolve. The thing about hotkeys is without moving your hands too far across the keyboard and leaving your hand on the mouse, or a trackball, if that's what you're using, you can very quickly access a whole bunch of very powerful functions to make editing go much, much, much more quickly. So let's have a look. That's pretty good. Alright, that should do it. Okay, yeah, that's the edit quickly. So let's have a look. Okay. At the end, and then again, shift and end bracket, and we're just getting rid of it. So now we've got our finished narrative. Cut it down pretty quickly, and I didn't actually use my mouse to touch any of these tools. Now, there's more to it than that, though. You may have noticed that I'm kind of like, right, shift this, control that. These are things that I do all the time. So you can program your own hotkey. So I'm going to hit Control Z to undo this a whole bunch, get back to the beginning, then see, there we have the whole file. Now I'm going to hit Control Alt and K, which is the default hotkey combination to bring up the hotkey programming. And the first thing I'm going to look at is split. So in this box here I can search, and what I'm looking for is timeline split clip, and here you can see Control and backslash, and then there's a little plus button. So I'm going to hit that plus button, and I'm just going to hit backslash without any modifiers. So now I can split a clip simply by hitting backslash. I don't need to do anything else. So I want to also look up delete. These are all copies, so we'll look in edit. So delete selected is backspace, and ripple delete is shift backspace, but it's also delete. So I could just be reaching up here to the delete key and hit that. So this will delete it and leave a space, and this will delete it and close this space. So now these are the two most common functions that I've been doing in that whole edit, split and delete, I can do without having to hold any other keys. Now, let's look at zooming in and zooming out. Zoom, view, and zoom. And here we can see that zoom in is Control equal or Control plus. What if I can zoom in with just hitting the equal key? Well, it could, but playback go to timecode is also assigned to that key. So if you try to assign the same hotkey to two different things, it'll warn you, and then that hotkey won't work for either of those things. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. and soldier on. Zoom out, that will be this key. De-increment timecode. Okay, good to know. But I'm going to assign it anyway. And you see this little warning icon is there, and it tells you, okay, that there's an overlap here. Now, I am going to go up to my keyboard up top. This is here for a reason. So I can find minus, and if I click it, you see it's highlighted, and it tells you all of the things that it is associated with. And if I click on decrement timecode, it'll take you to decrement timecode. And then this little X here, I can delete that conflict. Now you might not want to just go about willy-nilly deleting the way the default keys are set up, because they're set up that way for a reason, and later in life you might come back and find out that you really wanted to be able to do that more easily. But for the moment, we'll do the same thing here with timecode, and we'll delete the equal. And then, since I am working in the default DaVinci Resolve template, when I hit save, it's going to ask me to save it with a different name. CLS hotkeys. Okay, and then you see up here that the name of the preset has changed. So now I'm saving my own set of hotkeys. And we'll go ahead and close that and do this again. So I already know we're not going to go through all the process again. And I think we start here, yeah? Yeah, that's it. So zoom in, just one key, so easy. Split, delete. No more going to trim mode and back and forth. It's just one key. So this is the keys when using DaVinci Resolve. Okay, that's good enough. I know I don't need the rest of this to a certain point. The thing about hotkeys, that's not where we're starting, but that's okay. We'll delete it. And I think we start, well, yep, we start here. The thing about hotkeys, all right, done. Hotkeys, they make things a lot faster. Have a look at it and keep that in mind as you get to know the program more.